Well, this is the big news, in fact, that is just coming in. The camera that was being lowered down to monitor the situation as far as Timanna's condition is concerned has now encountered a stone, a massive stone that has been precariously placed right above Timanna, and they have now pulled out the camera, as the camera could dislodge the stone. If it falls on Timanna, then there could be a certain amount of damage that could be caused to the little boy. Even that little bit of consciousness that he has now could be lost if the stone falls on him. Well, now a high-tech ambulance has been kept on standby is what we understand. Medical services are in place, but of course the priority is to ensure that they reach Timanna at the earliest. Rescue operations are progressing even as we speak, but it could take a good 2 to 3 days and even 4 for them to actually dig a depth of 160 feet and then go horizontally to reach this borewell and rescue the child. It is a lot more complicated than one could anticipate, as the terrain is also very different here. The mud is moist, soft and easily collapsing, which is good if we look at the fact that they have to dig a parallel pit. But at the same time, it could prove to be tricky for Timanna, as there is constant debris falling on the little boy. However, there is a gap of almost 10 feet in place between where the officials are carrying out the digging process and where Timanna is actually stuck. Meanwhile, many children from across the state are coming forward to pray for the little boy, as they're fearing for his life. In fact, Karnataka has just witnessed a recent death of a 3-year-old girl child in Bijapur after she fell into a borewell head first, but fortunately that's not the case with Timanna. He's gone body first. However, that doesn't make the situation any better, as there is constant debris falling on his head. He's about 6 years old. There is absolutely no space for movement for him. Every time he moves, he slips down, and it's only getting worse for the little boy. And many schools have held special prayers for the speedy rescue of 6-year-old Timanna. Many schools across Bagalkote especially came forward today as they prayed that the 6-year-old boy be rescued. In fact, we even got in touch with the teacher of the 6-year-old boy, and he said that Timanna is a smart and sharp young boy, and it is very, very unfortunate that such an incident has taken place there. These are the latest visuals that you see on the television screens, as the family members are waiting for some sort of a positive outcome from this entire rescue operation. Meanwhile, hundreds of curious onlookers have come on location. These curious onlookers, in fact, have caused more damage than good to this rescue operation, as they have caused a lot of vibrations in the loose soil, and there could be more and more debris falling on that little boy, and he could be even slipping further down. But to avoid that, what the officials have done is that they have tied a knot around his arm. That is the only body part that is visible. They've tied a knot around it so that he does not slip any further. But if it's just one hand that is visible, it's almost impossible for them to pull him up using that one hand, as if he's not in a conscious state. It could lead to some grave injuries, and the officials would not want to risk that. Many prayers being held for little Timanna, as people have come in from all parts of the state to offer prayers, hoping and praying that yet another young life is not lost to a gaping borewell. But it was only a few weeks back when we saw another young life being lost. And this time it was in Bijapur. And now we are seeing another 6-year-old Timanna falling prey to the open borewell. But here it is his own family that is to be blamed, who are absolutely shattered with this development. Now this particular borewell is 300 feet deep, and the victim is believed to be stuck at a depth of 160 feet. This particular borewell is one of the newer borewells. In fact, just about 15 to 20 days back, his family members had dug it up and it was left open and abandoned. And even as the rescue operations continue unabated, there are children from across the state praying for the speedy recovery of little Timanna in Bagalkote, Raichur, Udupi and Yadagir. Several schools held a special prayer for the little boy, as little children prayed that he emerges unscathed from this horrific ordeal that he is being made to undergo. Little Timanna, who unsuspectingly headed out to just play a little right outside his house, accidentally fell into the borewell. He was at a depth of 10 feet, then slipped to 60, then went to 160. Even as people are hoping and praying for his rescue, the Chief Minister has asserted that Timanna fell into the borewell and is now still alive, thereby giving time for the officials to actually rescue him at the earliest. Family members absolutely shattered with this development now, as the robot operation has failed, and the only way is to wait for 2 to 3 or even 4 days time for an alternate tunnel to be dug up and to reach Timanna. And family members not able to come to terms with this horrific fact. In fact, when we spoke to the father as well as the grandmother, they went on to shed tears. Let's listen to what the victim's mother had to say.
ಹೊಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ಅಮ್ಮ ಹೇಳ್ಯಾನಂತ್ರಿ. ನಾನು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಣ್ಣ ಅನ್ನಂತ. ಬ್ಯಾಡಪ್ಪ ನಿನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಗಡ್ಯಾಗ ಏನ್ರ ಕೊಡಿಸಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಬಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕುರ್ಕುರ್ ಚೀಟ್ ಕೊಡಿಸಿ ಕಳ್ಸ್ಯಾನಂತ್ರಿ. ಬಿದ್ದೊಳಕತ್ನಂತ. ಬಿದ್ದೊಳತಾನ ಹಂಗಾರ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಹೋಗೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ರತ್ತಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 5 ಬೋರ್ ಹಾಕ್ಸಿವ್ರಿ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಬೋರ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಂತ ಈ ಬೋರಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾನಂತ್ರಿ. ಆ ಹುಡುಗ ಬೆಳಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೋತ ಬೋರ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋತ ಬಂದತ್ರಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗ ಜರ ಹಾಕೈತಲ್ರಿ, ಜರದಾಗ ಜಿಗದಾನ್ರಿ. ಅವ್ ಜರಾನು ಒಳ್ಯಾಕ ಹೋಗೈತ್ರಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗನು ಒಳ್ಯಾಕ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೈತಿ. ಹ್ಞೂನ್ರಿ.
Let's also listen to what the victim's grandmother had to say.
ಬುತ್ತಿ ಕಡೆ ಸಾಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದ. ಅವಾಗನ ಭಾಳ ತುರುಕಿದ್ದ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿ, ನನ್ನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ 1 ಹೇಳಿ 2 ಹೇಳಿ ಅಯ್ಯಪ್ಪ ನನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದದ್ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ ನನಗಿದು ಆಗೈತಿ ಅಪ್ಪ. ನನ್ನ ಮಾಮಗನ ಯಾರ ಕೈಯಾಗ ಕೊಟ್ಲಿ ಯಮ್ಮ ನೀ ದಾಸಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ನೀನು ಕಟ್ತಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳು ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ. ನನ್ನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನ ಬೋರ್ನ್ಯಾಗ ಕುಂದ್ರಸೀನಿ ಯಪ್ಪ. ನನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹಂಗಾಗೈತ್ರಿ ನನ್ನದಪ್ಪ. ಬುತ್ತಿ ಕಡೆ ಸಾಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದ, ಅವಗನ ಭಾಳ ತುರುಕಿದ್ದ.
Well, in fact, the family members absolutely inconsolable now, as they feel that it is their fault that has led to their child battling death now. 6-year-old Timmanna, who is believed to be the only son of his parents and also the youngest child, is now stuck inside a borewell at a depth of almost 160 feet. Of course, oxygen is being provided, but a lot of debris is constantly falling on him because of the activity around. Meanwhile, parallel digging is going on, and the officials could reach Timmanna in the traditional way only in about 4 days, maybe 3 to 4 days at least, that the operation would take. And hence the family members have only hope to cling on to, as with each passing minute they are losing time to save their little boy. Well, these are the live visuals that you see on your television screens at the moment. Even as we speak, the rescue operations have been on since yesterday. The NDRF has camped right at the village, Sulakeri village in Bagalkote, to try and rescue the little boy. But certainly there is a bigger problem that the officials need to look into, such illegal borewells mushrooming across the state, especially in the rural areas, has been of cause of concern. And lack of awareness is one of the major reasons as to why many of these children have lost their lives to such incidents. For no fault of theirs, young lives are snuffed out because of such horrific incidents.